Hey, if you're wondering what happened to all the crime since November 8th, you're actually bringing up a very interesting question. Fox News stories about violent crime are down 50% since the November 8th midterm election. There's a very good research piece from Media Matters. Fox's coverage of violent crime dropped after the midterms. Weekday violent crime segments decreased by 50% in the week of the election compared to the weekly average since Labor Day. Are any of us surprised? In fact, Fox News decreased stories about violent crime 63%. Media Matters has the details. This is not unique, I assure you, to Fox News. We all knew in the lead up to the November 8th midterms that there's stories about violent crime, which of course ignore that, by the way, stories about violent crime in what they call Democrat cities, not only ignore the facts of, for example, on a crime rate basis, Oklahoma is more dangerous than New York State. And on a crime rate basis, both property and violent crime, Oklahoma City is more dangerous than New York City. Remember, rates, a lot more people live in New York City. Aside from the fact that it's an absurd narrative and that most cities in general are run by Democrats because more Democrats tend to live in cities, we also know that it's just a ploy. And I want to remind you, I'm going to give you other examples, all of which I have previously covered, because they do this all the time. In 2014, it was Ebola. Remember the guy who went Eboling at Brooklyn Bowl? And at the time, I was like at Brooklyn Bowl the day after, and I was worried, did I get Ebola? What's going on? Anyway, 2014. We knew leading up to the midterms that Ebola was being used by people like Rand Paul, stands out, and many others, just to criticize Barack Obama. That's all that it was. They just wanted to criticize Obama. Obama. And even though there were like 4 cases, and the one person that died got Ebola outside of the country, if I recall correctly. I mean, it was crazy. And the day after the 2014 midterms, no more talk about Ebola. And it never came back. They never talked about it again. Another example, this is a classic, the migrant caravan coverage. This one was in 2018, leading up to the 2018 midterms under Donald Trump. The migrant caravans are on the way. They're coming here. And we know that migrant caravans tell us, oh, there's an election coming up. And of course, as is reported here, migrant caravan coverage plummeted after the midterms. And indeed it did. And also a piece from Vox. Fox News barely mentions caravan first morning after midterms. Fox and friends had been just ranting about caravans. Day after the midterms, they quite literally still have the election results up on the screen. This was the day, this was November 6th or 7th, 2018, whenever. And they barely talk about it. We know the story. We know exactly what they do. It's very clear at this point. Remember not to follow it and ask yourselves the question, not fall for it. Ask yourself the question. Is this getting coverage because it's important? Is this getting coverage because it's accurate? Or is this getting coverage because it serves a political goal or a media goal, which can often be creating fear and titillating and scaring viewers? If you ask those questions, you figure these out pretty quickly. If you have a friend or loved one who is passionate about the environment, here is a perfect holiday gift. Our sponsor, Established Titles, is a project that lets you ceremonially purchase as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land in Edelston, Scotland, so that you can call yourself a lord or a lady, like the historic Scottish tradition. Some people even change their plane tickets or credit cards to include lord or lady. Your title pack comes with an official certificate. You can see exactly where your plot of land is located. It makes a perfect last-minute gift. But most importantly, Established Titles plants 1 free tree for every plot of land sold. Established Titles does really good work all over the world with reforestation organizations like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future. So you'll have a great laugh, whether you're Scottish or not. I'm not. But you're giving the gift of reforestation to fight climate change. If you use my link, you'll get 10% off, and your plot of land will be right next to mine. You can see it on a map. Go to establishedtitles.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for an extra 10% off on top of their Black Friday deal. The link is down below.